Hello, world. This is the PG.biz podcast. And yes, Brian is not here, my co-host. He is gearing up for a massively exciting Scottish Games Week. I'm back from the UA Society event in London, where I was just blown away by the people I could connect with. And I brought one back today. And the reason I brought her back is because she shows me that games for good is not just a motto, it is a mission. Games can have real impact. And the timing is great because at one end of the spectrum, we already know through a report from SkillPoint that games have an impact on mental health. But all games companies and all companies active in the games industry can have a positive impact on the planet. And we're going to talk about this program today. It's called Playing for the Planet, and its champion, its stewardess, is my guest today. Her first podcast, Lisa Pack. You have been active in the games industry for over a decade, and now your goal is to accelerate the speed at which we all take action for the environment and also inspire everyone to embrace purpose. So first of all, I'm moved to have you today. I'm excited because it's your first podcast. You've chosen to come to me and to PG.biz. Just great to have you.
Thank you, Peggy. Letting me share a little bit more about Playing for the Planet with our industry.
So Playing for the Planet, by the way, it's a great name, but it's an alliance that you represent, not yourself. It's with a number of partners. It's a very powerful program with some great supporters, including the UN. Tell us about this alliance and what its specific goals are.
Yes, so Playing for the Planet has been around since 2019. It consists of gaming studios as well as trade bodies, such as Game here in Germany, Yuki in the UK, SNJV in France. We're facilitated by the United Nations Environment Programme, which means that we work with high standards and we have access to relevant resources. So within the Alliance, we focus more on collaboration rather than competition in this very highly competitive industry that we are in. And we're trying to bring people together so that they can do good work that benefits the planet. And the goals of the Alliance are something that we ask each of our members to do is, first of all, to reduce their carbon emissions and set net zero targets. Second is to implement green activations in games, because we believe that the superpower of the games industry is its reach. So by using the games and talking about environmental topics in games, we think we can inspire a lot of people to do good for the planet. And then lastly, we ask our members to work on special projects, which can be anything really that they think is relevant and interesting to work on. Some of the projects that are going on right now are a plastics protocol project, where mostly console gaming studios work together and look at how they can reduce the amount of plastics that is used in games. But then, for example, we also have a decarbonization working group where several of our members are working together and thinking about how can we deal better with carbon accounting in the industry, because it's such a complex topic. So as a concrete result of that, next week we're actually launching a report that is titled Untangling the Carbon Complexities of the Video Gaming Industry, which I think is such a great document for the entire industry to better understand how to look at this topic. But then there are also there's another initiative mostly focusing on Xbox, which is the Xbox Sustainability Toolkit, for example, where Xbox have provided tools for all developers that make games for Xbox, so that they can have benchmarks and have tips and tricks on how to develop their games to be better for the environment and essentially use less energy.
And all of this is part of the Alliance, so it really does span the entire industry. It's beyond games developers. They're a big part of it, but it's really all the companies in the ecosystem.
Yeah, correct. We're trying. So our members right now are gaming studios and the trade bodies, as I mentioned earlier. but we're looking into ways as well for other organizations that are active in the industry to see how they can join and support this movement really. And I think important there, it's always like we're looking at groups of organizations that can work together on doing something and untangle some of the complexities that come with this agenda.
It's moving to see literally that there is a movement, and everyone can get involved in the various projects. They can practically pick a project. I'd like to understand a little bit about your backstory, because you probably also had a project that you started out with. What was it?
Yes, that's correct. So for me, this entire journey started while I was working at Wooga. At some point, the company was looking into calculating its carbon footprint, and I volunteered doing this. And as I started diving into this work, knowing very little, I soon came to realize that calculating a carbon footprint for an organization is extremely complex. So I spoke to a lot of different people trying to understand and figuring out what is the right way to go about it. And as I went on that journey, I met so many other individuals within our industry that were doing many different things. Yeah, this kind of like got me to realize that there's so much more that we can do as an organization besides calculating, reducing, and offsetting our carbon emissions. That I found the Green Game Jam, for example, and enrolled June's Journey to participate in that. I think it was 2021 for the first time. And from there, I started to get many more ideas of what we could do within the company itself, and that kind of like how it expanded into a small side project into something much bigger that I essentially wanted to turn my job into with a full focus on sustainability and the environment. But unfortunately, that didn't work out for me at Wooga. But that did bring me to Playing for the Planet.
Well, glad you arrived. Everything has a good ending. Every path is worthwhile, and your path has brought you to this project and also brought us together, because I'm sitting there expecting to hear about UA, and you come on and you start and you talk about this. And I recall that the people I spoke with afterwards at the UA Society, they were like, "Where's Lisa? We need to chat. This is very exciting for me." So how did that go?
So it was overwhelmingly positive, I would say. I did not expect these reactions at all, to be honest. There was lots of people telling me how inspired they were after my conversation. The person who spoke after me from Apps Flyer even mentioned that this is probably the most important talk of the day, which I thought was so kind of him to say. Um, and I think some people were eager to learn more, to brainstorm a bit about what it is that they can do within their companies. And some are like, "Oh, how the Green Game Jam? This sounds great. How do we get on board? How can we join that?" So different type of conversations, but overall very positive, and people seem to be full of ideas of things that they could do at their studios.
And exactly where I wanted to take it next. Green Game Jam. Again, great title, great concept. Tell me about it, because you started out by joining one. Is it around the corner? What is it, and how can people get involved?
Yes, so the Green Game Jam is not a game jam as most of us probably think it would be. So we are not developing games from scratch, but what we are doing is looking at existing games with an existing audience so that we can actually reach as many people as possible. And we then ask game teams to develop a green activation, as we call it, which is focusing around an environmental theme that changes every year for the Green Game Jam. And we then ask them to come up with, I don't know, a new feature, a new world, a marketing campaign, a time limited event, or anything that they can come up with around this environmental theme and implement that into the game. And the goal of that really is to inspire as many people as possible to take actions that benefit the planet, really. And It's a yearly event which is starting again in 2024. We hope to announce our theme and goal for next year before the end of November. So if anyone is interested, drop us a note via the website so we can make sure to send you all the information. Yeah, we're not really 100% sure on the theme just yet, but it's going to be something around bringing gaming communities together out of the games into nature, trying to take small actions that lead together to a very big impact. So, really looking to empower players around the world to do something that is close to home, something that they can easily do, and that is all in support of the environment. That's what we're looking at. And any studio out there can join, whether that is mobile, PC, or console. And our ask really is to have a game out there that already has an existing audience, because of that point that we're trying to reach as many people as possible.
You went to one yourself. That's how it all started. What are some examples of what a green activation looks like? I mean, what can that be? I mean, it has to be more than lip service, Lisa. It has to be more than like, oh, I've got a game and I put some trees in it, and then we're going to have an event where we, plant one or something. These should be meaningful.
Yes, I think maybe a great example, which I followed very closely, was this year in Love and Pies from Trail Mix Games. So this year for the Green Game Jam, our theme was wildlife, and our goal was to safeguard several species in different regions around the world. And within Love and Pies, there's a great story with the characters that talk about everything, and there is the merge component of the game. So what this game did is they focused on saving Harlequin toads in the Amazon. They had a special toad in the game that you could merge and collect items for the game and rewards. But they also had a very nice thing in the story of the game, where the main characters of the game talked about the Amazon, the Harlequin toads, the environment, why it's important to focus on this, why it's important to trail mix. Yeah, I think this was just really amazing. It had that component of talking to players about the why, and about the focus of the green activations, and it had that component of doing something in the game, merging these Harlequin toads, and also working together with the entire game community to reach a certain goal. So to me, that was a very special activation, I think, because it tried to bring people together around this agenda, trying to achieve something in the game together, and also trying to teach people something about this species and this area in the world that needs some of our attention.
It isn't the one I would have expected, but it also shows a tremendous amount of sort of inspiration, innovation, just trying something very different. Where can game developers, games companies sort of get ideas for this? Is there a group within the group where maybe they're like, hey, I'm really into this. I really want to do this, Lisa, but I haven't got a clue.
Generally, what I see is once we announce the theme for the Green Game Jam, game teams have so many ideas already of what they can and cannot do, and our thinking is also really studios will know their games best. They know what's feasible. They know their audience best, so they come up with the best ideas really to implement this environmental theme into the game. So I think I've never really come across studios having issues figuring out what it is that they can do. It's more a question of time and resources. What's feasible within the time frame of the Green Game Jam. But if we're thinking of I would say a community within our industry that is looking to brainstorm about ideas of what they can do in their games, We have a Slack group at the Green Game Jam that all the participants from past years where they are in. I think that's a good place to start. But if you haven't joined a Green Game Jam just yet, I would also refer to our website where we have listed a short description and some images of each of the activations from the past years, which could be used as an inspiration. But then also, if you know of a game that has joined the Green Game Jam, don't be afraid to reach out to those teams and ask them about their experience, their ideas, and how they came about it. How was it for the teams to work on this? Because in my experience, everyone is very open to share information and to really like help each other out when it comes to this topic. Another point I think would be not related to Playing for the Planet, but there is the IGDA Climate Special Interest Group, which is also a group within our industry that consists of gaming experts, environmental experts, and generally people who are interested in this topic, which is an amazing group as well, where they have a Discord group or a Discord channel where anybody is welcome to join. And it's a great place to brainstorm as well and get advice and feedback on ideas from other people.
One point I also wanted to get to that I thought was very novel, because one is like building it into the game, and the other is having discussion within the company. You know, what can we do? But, well, companies across the ecosystem, so studios, can also provide some space for ads, sort of like, if I think about old media, it's like the public service announcement, you know, spread the word, have an ad related to sustainability somewhere in the game or something. What does that look like? How does that work? And how can also game studios get involved there?
Yeah, so that was mainly an idea I've always had from my time dealing with ad monetization at Vuga. Um, I think players, or at least from my time at Wuga, players were always complaining about seeing the same ads about content that they didn't like. Me as a player am sometimes annoyed by this as well, having to watch the same ad over and over again. So my idea there would be, is there a way for studios to give up some of their ad traffic to support environmental causes? Within UNEP, there's hundreds of projects going on in different parts of the world where they're trying to spread a message amongst a large group of people. And again, our superpower in this industry really is the reach. So, how can we bring some of those campaigns together with the games industry and see if we can support these UNEP campaigns to reach their audience in a different way that they are also new to. So that's kind of an idea that I had. So far, I haven't found anyone who is super keen on trying this. Even though I will have some conversations with people who attended the UA Society Summit to explore this. So yeah, I would love to see where we could find a way to make this possible. So a studio that has some traffic that they are able to donate, so to say, to a good environmental cause, and then figuring out a technical partner to make that work, and then we from our side can provide video content and click through URLs to make that work. And it would be interesting to see how that could boost the reach of certain campaigns that UNEP is working on, as well as to see from the game perspective how players are reacting to this type of content, and if it's something that actually is, if it's something that they actually welcome.
If you think about it, also, it sort of is a bit of a win in the other direction, because ad fatigue, I know for myself, it's just like I watch the same ads. I'm thinking, you have my attention, mix it up a little
Yeah,
bit. And this is like mixing it up with a good reason. Yeah, this is, as you said, it's a superpower. Games have reach. Why
yeah,
not include an ad about the organization or what you're doing or how people can get involved? And speaking of how they can get involved, another point that I thought was very interesting is that it's about helping the planet. It's playing for the planet, but there's also an element of personal satisfaction, maybe even for you as well, because when you started your journey, it was like, I'm doing something, it makes me feel good.
Yes, I think for me, this all started with personal challenges, which made me to think about how can I add more purpose into my life. And a big part of that is also work. So I think I was quite lucky at Wuga that this opportunity came up. I was able to do all these things. And what I learned from that is that it really turned me into a much happier person. And I think this resulted into me being better at my regular job, but also at this side project. And it just gave me so much energy to do more, to learn more, but also to meet a lot of other new people that are already active on this agenda within the games industry. So I met a whole new community of people, which for me is such a great source of coming up with even more ideas of what we can do. And I think, yeah, because the funny thing is, my colleague Sam, he always asks, what more can you do? And I think starting on this work really gives you the energy to think about what more is there to do. And I think that kind of that effect just trickles on and in everything else that you do in life. And it just, yeah, made me an overall happier person, I would say.
Good to have you here, Lisa. And it's contagious. It really is. But it's also work, it's time, it's effort. For the game devs as well as for yourself, what are some thoughts? How do you keep the energy, the commitment, the momentum high?
Yes, it is indeed work. I do think, though, that it doesn't have to take up a lot of hours of your work week in order to start exploring what more there is you can do to support the environment. To add to that, it's also always good to go around the company and see who else is there that is interested in this agenda and trying to do more good for the environment at work, because you'll probably be surprised that there are always other people. And amongst this group of colleagues, I'm 100% sure that you all have tons of ideas already around what it is that you can do within your organization. And I think it's okay to start small. This is a journey. Everybody will start at a different place. Yeah, when they embark on this journey, so to say. So that's also okay. Start where you feel like you can start, see what is possible within your organization, within your team, and take it from there. Um, and I think also reach out to some individuals in the industry. Everybody is always so open and welcoming and willing to share and help each other out, because this is an agenda that we have to tackle together. It's complicated. Nobody can do this alone. And yeah, by working together, yeah, we really can make a difference.
And that is it. It is really every single small step matters. It's all going on that path. And look at yourself. I mean, you've gone from UA and games expert to someone with purpose, and you're even farming, which I think is so cool. Lisa, are you still doing that? Because
Yes, so that's a project that I started with a couple of friends at the beginning of this year. Actually, yesterday morning, my friend and I went to the field and took the last vegetables that were still growing. There were some carrots, there was spinach. My project on growing pak choi unfortunately failed. But the season is over. There's not enough light anymore to grow anything new, and it gets dark soon and we're all working during the day, so it's kind of over for us. But having said that, this organization that we rent the land through provides every season the opportunity to re-rent that. So we actually rented two fields now, and have another friend join us next year. So that's kicking off again next year. But that's been such an amazing experiment. And I was actually inspired by the Green Game Jam in 2022, where food was one of the topics. My relationship to food has changed a lot. I'm eating so many more vegetables. I've discovered new vegetables that I have never eaten before, like kohlrabi. I've never even heard of it before this year. So that's been really nice. And food waste has been a topic that you look into, because all the time and effort and energy and love really that you put into growing these vegetables, they kind of become your babies. And then you harvest it, bring it home, clean it, and eat it. You don't want to throw any of that away. So you make sure you eat every single thing that you have grown. And yeah, that's been really such a great journey for me and my friends to do. And next year, early spring, it will kick off again. So if there's anyone in Berlin who wants to help out, because it is a ton of work next year, feel free to reach out, because we can always use an extra pair of hands to get rid of weeds and water the plants. Also, Peggy, if you find yourself in Berlin next year, I would love it if you join me one day.
You are on. I'm in Berlin very often. There are so many games events there. You know, we've got APS and others hit games. So yeah, you're on. And I love the way you describe that, because I'm thinking the whole time, yeah, it keeps you grounded, and keeping you grounded is what this is all about. When you have first hand experience that brings you closer to the earth, and you appreciate things and you see things differently. It's so easy to sort of just stay in that world of, being so distant, which is why, again, bringing people perhaps out next year in 2024, getting them outside, gives also people an appreciation for this work and the importance of your work. But before we let you go, Lisa, we always have to do it. I have a feeling I might even know your favorite game, but we'll see. We always ask our guests, what's your favorite game you're currently playing? What's your favorite game of all time?
Yeah, probably your guess is right. Love and Pies. I have been playing this game. I don't even know how long. Uh, I'm always end of content. I love the characters, the story, everything really. It's such a cute game. So that's my favorite game right now. Favorite game all time. Oof, I have no idea actually. I don't think I have an all-time favorite, because I'm a person that moves from one game to the other. I'm actually surprised with how long I've been playing Love and Pies already.
Maybe it just wins on both
Yeah,
counts.
maybe it does. Maybe it does.
Maybe it does. And that's a great message out to our friends over at Trail Mix. We've had Philippa on the show, and it's just a testament to the whole idea that a great story is powerful. And speaking of powerful, it's just been a powerful conversation with you, Lisa. Empowering, enlightening, and human. So I want to thank you so much for coming here to share today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun for my first podcast. I really enjoyed talking to you. And hopefully, I see you soon in Berlin.
This show is all about how to do your job better, how to make an amazing game, how to market it, and you have a say. So if you have a story or know someone we need to shine a light on, then we would love to hear from you.
We want to hear from you. We want to reflect the reality of the mobile games market in all its wonderful complexity and strangeness. So if you have any suggestions for us, if you have any feedback for us, you can always get in touch. You can email us at podcast@pocketgamer.biz. You can find us on Twitter @PGBiz, and you can reach out to us through the pocketgamer.biz website. If you're interested in listening to all of our podcasts, you can find them at pocketgamer.biz/podcast, and we would love to hear your thoughts on future shows.
And we've got you covered on all the major platforms, so subscribe to the audio podcast, as Brian said. Look for us on YouTube. If you want to read it, hey, you can do that too, because we have a companion post for you as well on the pocketgamer.biz website.
Tune in again for the next edition of the pocketgamer.biz podcast, and we look forward to speaking to you in the near future. Until then, I'm Brian Baglow.
I'm Peggy Anne Salz, and that's a wrap until next week.